And away we go. Welcome, 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 everybody, to episode 45 of the podcast Unlimited Wisdom with Robert Hollis. And as we get started, I'd like to ask that you please hit the like button if you're watching us on YouTube, which you probably are. Right down there, hit that like button. Also, if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please hit that button as well, and you'll get some great content. We got lots of great things planned as the year progresses, so you want to be a part of it. We thank you very much for joining us and being a part of our community. My name's Craig Jackman, and I am here with the man, Robert Hollis. And unfortunately, Matt is not going to be with us today. He is taking care of some personal business. I don't know if I don't know if we need to share that, but
him and Ezra and Hannah have an appointment.
yes. And now he may be with us later as we keep
Right.
going, but the clock doesn't stop. And when we say
No.
12 o'clock, we are going to start at 12 o'clock because we respect your time as well. And we thank you so much for being a part of our amazing community and for being a part of the Unlimited Wisdom podcast. So thank you so very, very much. Robert, what a great day. Happy
Yeah.
second day of spring.
Crazy.
I know. And you know what? The weather outside, yesterday, I was outside and it was awesome. I usually do like a morning walk or anything like that and just did that. Today I was out in my mom's backyard because she's got lemon, orange, and tangelo trees and she needs to kind of pull those off because those trees are abundant. Now, it's late for
Wow.
orange, but oh my gosh.
That is
These
so
tan
cool.
If you were here right now, I would give you some of these tangelos because the last 4 years that they've been there, not good. This year, OMG. They
Well,
are in
that
freaking
sounds like
incredible.
that sounds like a metaphor for life.
You know what? Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it takes a few years to get it right. Well, hello everyone. It's great to have you on this podcast. I hope everything is going amazing for you. Craig, thanks a lot again for hosting this. And if you've watched any of our podcasts, excuse me, we mostly just talk about the things that are happening in the world, and I think an opening statement that I'd like to go on, Craig, is sort of like what we were talking about right before we got on here. It's like wow, when you really think, and I this time I do mean think, it's like a lot of people don't realize that how messed up their thinking is. And I
Mm.
want every one of you to know is that we talked about this, I think, a little bit on the AMA yesterday. I have some great stuff for AMA and even more for the Imaginators on Sunday.
Ooh, can't wait,
And
can't wait.
and yeah, we'll talk
Subscribe
about
and you'll find out more. Or go to
yeah,
roberthollis.com/join so that you can be part of the Imaginators because that is a private call. But we
right.
are, oh my gosh. Sorry to interrupt, Robert, but I just
No,
wanted to
no,
get
no,
everybody
no.
on that right away.
But I remember the first time, there's a lot of things that are programmed to be, we've been talking about the program. Craig, thank you so much for doing the video. It's not your fault. You know what I mean? Because, when my mentor first talked to me, the reason that he gave me the greatest miracle in the world is because he knew how messed up my thinking was, right? He knew how much my thinking was messed up. And here's what's really sad, everyone, is that, I want to, pull this out of Craig a little bit. Craig is really in touch and very vulnerable and talks about his feelings, so it'll be easy. But, we think about going through life. We could, think about, going through life. And, I'm going to be bold here. And, when you talk about understanding any part of you being a religious or a belief in some kind of any kind of religion or belief, regardless of what it is, the one thing that's a common denominator, and listen closely, is that how you feel, because you were created by the belief of your creator. Okay? And so one of the things, if you just think about that, some of you that do have children or grandchildren, you look at them And it's like today when Terry and I went on a walk this morning, we take our two golden retrievers, Dex and Leo. And this guy's walking by and he always says hi and he, pets the dogs. And as he's petting them, he looks at them and goes, man, they're just always full of joy. They're always just so happy. And their tails are going all over the place. And it's like, and you think about a person, a human being, that how many of you are out in public and when you see strangers, you're like, oh my God, there's somebody else I could talk to and meet. And this is awesome. I look at all the people and KC did a post this morning and it was the opposite of this. And he said something to the comment of, how many people some days just do not like people. You just don't like people. And a majority of us, so without getting off the point, the number one commandment, Craig is Jewish. I know I've talked to other people that are Jehovah Witnesses, Scientologists, Muslims. I've talked to Buddhists, Hindus, because I have a business all over the world. I'm very, very inquisitive and curious. And so one of the things is there's these little statements that you hear is that God doesn't make any junk. All right. Okay. So, there's statements like that if you were thinking about your children or someone that you really love and adore, don't you love them unconditionally? It's like this funny thing where, when couples are in their honeymoon period, there's really nothing they can do wrong. They fart and it's so cute. They burp and it's cute and they make mistakes and it's cute and they have thoughts about other things and other people. Like, my wife will be driving and someone's in the fast lane and I get to hear some, pretty incredible words that come out of her mouth. And I've said this all the time that she's the only perfect driver on the planet, because everyone that drives
I thought
faster
everybody
than
knew
them
that. Yeah.
is an effing idiot, and everyone that drives slower than them is also a freaking idiot. You know what I mean? Get out of the way. And I was thinking about this today because the number one commandment, for people that are Christians, and you can look this up. The number one commandment turned into 10 when the story of Jesus is on the planet. And the very first thing that he says is, love your creator. Just be grateful. Just constantly look at your incredible life and be grateful for whatever created all this wonderful stuff that you have. And if you just did a comparison, they're not dropping bombs on my head. I'm healthy. I'm happy. I have a roof over my head. I have food. You look at, I've seen those posts that go around and says, if you have food and shelter and it's heated and your water's heated, that you're immediately in the top some percent of all the 8 billion people on the planet. Yeah. Okay. So when you look at that as far as gratefulness and stuff like that, the second one, and I'm looking, people can give me posts and stuff, and that's why I wanted to say this part and then let Craig go on it, is that the second commandment is love yourself. It says, love yourself and then love your neighbor. But
as yourself.
Yeah, as yourself. So as you say that, let's just play around with that a little bit. See, the other the other 9 commandments are immediately erased because if I love myself and I loved you, I'm not going to steal from you. I'm not going to kill you. I'm not going to, have an affair with you and your wife or your girlfriend.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to lie to you. All these other things, if I loved myself and I loved you, I would want everything positive for you. I'd want to help you. I'd want to do whatever I can to assist you. And the only reason I brought this stuff up, Craig, is because it's been really, really deep on my mind. It's so funny that everybody out there goes, I'm so happy and grateful that money comes to me on a continuous basis from multiple sources, from increasing quantities. And I go, yeah, that's so cool. But why doesn't anybody say that about joy in their life? Why doesn't anyone say about peace in your life? Why doesn't anybody say health in your life? Why is money? So we get these people out there that say money is the root of all evil. Well, if that's the one thing that you spend most of your time thinking about, it definitely is. But if you were going to do anything to generate money or help people in the world, I don't know if it's possible, Craig, if you don't love yourself.
Oh, most of the things that I've checked on, uh, like Mel Robbins, some of the other ones. Well, I bring up Mel because I just finished going over her book, the Let Them theory.
Let them.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And I do highly recommend that to anybody, whether
Awesome.
it's the audio book.
In here.
Yeah, whether it's the audio book or or reading the book. I took the audio book because in my morning time, what I usually do is I get up, I go to a treadmill, which I have here because it's a little cold in the morning to go out and do a running, at least for me. Now, my girlfriend will say otherwise because she gets up at like 6 in the morning now when it's dark, and she will run outside.
Wow.
So, but yeah, well, she's a runner, she's a marathoner, and so, anyways, but and I'm trying to work up.
Good for you. I believe you can do it.
Well, I don't know about marathon, but I will be doing a 5K July 4th, and this will be my third 5K with her. And every 5K that up to this point, I have actually knocked off about 30 seconds of my time.
Awesome. Does Sue even break a sweat on a 5K?
Oh, she probably doesn't. Well, I don't know because she's so far ahead of me. I mean, she's about right now, she's 5 minutes ahead of me. But no, the Let Them theory is such a great book when it comes to how you feel. And I agree exactly with everything that you have shared, Robert, up to this point here in this show, in this podcast. Because to me, it's Let Them is also understand who they are.
Right.
And accept them for who they are.
Right.
And that's them. And you need to let them. But at the same time, and I know I'm going to be, in a sense, summarizing the book because you have to go through it.
Yeah.
But what is the whole idea behind Let Them? The whole idea behind Let Them is that it's about loving you, how you escape from the mental issues that you have. So how do you do that? You don't change the other person. You let them. You give up. You change that mental thinking and you let them be who they are, and you either accept them for who they are or you say, thank you very much, I'm going to move on. For your own peace of mind, you learn how to not just let them, but love you, because who is let them? Let them is loving you because you have to take care of yourself. And it's not in a sense to be it is and it isn't if you look at it.
Right.
It's not to be self-centered. It's not to be selfish, but it's to look out after you, because who's the only person who could look out after you?
True. You. Is there nobody? We a lot of people that will watch this live or recorded would wish that other people could make them happy and give them joy,
right,
and peace of mind. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, I definitely, right now, because I want to concentrate here, I'll put the link in the.
Sure.
In fact, I'm going to go ahead. I'm making a note here at the conclusion. Let Them book. I'm going to just keep an idea here so that I put that at the end of this podcast, and it'll be in the post description below. But it's so important when you think about it for your own mental health and for everybody else's.
Yeah.
One more thing I just want to share too is, you bring up we all have different beliefs. We all have different, maybe in this, I'm going to say religious backgrounds,
Sure.
but it is the way that we were raised. It was
Yeah.
the culture that we grew up with. And I know I've said it before on previous podcasts where the influence is from our parents. And a
Sure.
lot of people say that from ages 0 to 7 is when you start to learn how your beliefs will be shaped. That's not necessarily going to be the end result,
No.
but let's say you grew up in Turkey, and you're influenced by their culture. If you grew up in India, you were influenced by their culture because that's the way you grew up. If you were raised here in the United States, you were influenced by the way we were raised here in the US.
Correct.
So we have to be able to look at everybody on an individual basis and say, okay, and I know I'm being altruistic when I say this, especially in
Sure.
today's environment. They were raised a certain way, you were raised a certain way, and you have to be accommodating to whatever it is that, if you're going to be friends with the person, whether they're religious or culturally different.
Right.
If you want to be a friend and you want to understand what these people are and who these people are, then you got to be open. Now, yes, if there is an issue, then, I would say it's Aaron Yotze. It's a Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. And you let them be them.
Right.
If you don't like what they have to say, then walk away.
Yeah.
Turn your back.
It's really,
I mean, just get away from
yeah.
it.
There's just so many people that, what if there was a poll out there, just a poll, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the poll asked people anonymously, on the scale of 1 to 10, how much do you love human beings?
Wow.
Because people would say, I like this group, but not this group. And then the group that I like this portion of that group.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And it could, like you said, what you already said, whether it's Asian, African. So, there's even gender. I have met people because of whatever trauma that they dealt with. I'm a man hater. I'm a woman hater. You know what I mean? I mean, now you're segmenting 50% of the population because of what somebody else did.
Well, it was through their experience. I'm
Yeah,
sure of it.
yeah.
We, even though that those 0 to 7 years that we were raised, add that to whatever the experiences are that we had, and that's just through age 7. What about in our teen years? What about in our post-teen, pre-adult years?
Yeah,
And all of the experiences.
going through high school, not only trying to figure out who you are, but also seeing all the cliques that
Oh yeah.
oh my God, it was the bookworms, and then you had the people that went, played instruments and choir, the band, and the arts, the people that, a
The
play.
sports geeks and everything
And then
like
you
that.
got the jocks,
The jocks.
and then the cheerleaders, right?
Yep.
And then you got the stoners, you know what I mean? You got the, the people that, the group of people that connected together that always tried to figure out how to do just as little as possible. You know what I
Right.
mean? And me, I was a grease monkey. I just, everything that I did was all about my car. You know what I mean? And you see all these clicky people and how they fit into cliques, and then how everyone just dislikes the people that are not there.
Right.
And it was funny for people, I won't say you, but for people to make fun of the other cliques.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Because we left one group out. I know there's more cliques, people know. I fit in this clique, I fit in this clique. How about the person that didn't fit in any cliques?
Or didn't want to.
Right. So nothing resonated with them. So now all the cliques get to pick on them
Yeah.
because they had no friends, they had no people to click with. And so now they're a loner, right? And so now the rest of the cliques get to pick on them. And I think it's amazing because we're trying to, in our teens, trying to find a way to feel like we're a part of something, like
Hmm.
we're okay for just a moment in school where we're going, listen, I guess I'm part of this little clique. But for the people that weren't part of that clique, now all of a sudden you get thrown out in the world and you find those cliques at your job. You find those cliques at college, right? And now
Yes.
all of a sudden it's like, wow, so I remember not really knowing where my identity was other than being a greased monkey. And then also I turned that into I'm a mechanic, so, and of course mechanics are smarter than any other person or group or clique out there. Because I see people with more degrees than a thermostat. They'd have PhDs, and they come in and their car was towed in, and they're going, it just wouldn't start. And I get in and click the starter, and it's the motor seized up. And I look at them and I said, "When's the last time that you changed oil?" And they're going, "I didn't know that you had to do that." Well, that little, I didn't think I was going to do that, is going to cost you $8,000.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
Most people would just get a new car. You know what I mean? It's like crazy. So, but yeah, Greg, explain a little bit if you don't mind. Not only you learning to love yourself, but feeling that you're okay,
Hmm.
and because, like I said, that statement, it really blew me away that in this day and age, moving forward, if you don't love people, I just don't know how things can change for you.
We are a society of people. And I'm going to just say by people and for people.
Hmm.
And we have to get along with each other. That's the bottom line. In spite of what people say in this current environment,
Right. The
you know,
programming is
the
constantly
programming.
telling you, hey,
Yeah,
this guy's bad.
right.
This guy's bad. Let's all go out there and start Teslas on fire. You know what I mean? It's like, really?
Yeah.
You do
You
know
know,
if you get caught doing that, that's a lot of prison time.
and somebody already has.
Like, why would you do
But
something that someone put out there and go, hey, we don't like this person. So what we're going to do is we're going to rail negativity against them.
oh
So,
yeah.
just like the council culture that we feel like we're still in, but we're coming out of, is like people, say their heart and say their mind. And now the next thing they know, they don't have a job. you know and it's
Hmm.
like everybody, not everybody, I keep asking a higher power to correct my language. A majority of the people love dogpiling on people. They just really, even though they're NASCAR fans, they're waiting for the wreck to happen.
Oh
there's
yeah.
actually there's actually drivers that get into wrecks and everyone applauds. But I know that's the same thing in basketball and football. It's like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, so you can be
Any
excited about,
action where there's
yeah,
other people involved where you can see, and of course we're in a sense programmed to that too.
yes,
We have a tendency to like violence against
yes,
something that we do not like, and that could be, okay, let's just go to hockey for example, where there's a lot in that sport. There is in football, but more, football is controlled in my opinion. I mean, yes, there are some outbreaks, but hockey, I mean, they're whacking each other with sticks. They're throwing the gloves off. They're ripping the helmets off, and they are going to start fisticuffs.
yeah,
There's an old word for you. But the bottom line is like, my team. is competing here, and I'm rooting for my team. Oh, and the other team,
Yeah.
ooh, I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna beat them. And it's like,
Wow.
okay, but that's the other thing too, though, is that's in a sense in a controlled environment too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you expect that. We enjoy it, or even reality television. If you want
Yeah.
to talk about, I mean, it's like, okay, how many different
Want to
ways
see
can you,
someone flip over a table.
right? Yeah, it's like, I wouldn't do that. Oh, he did it. Oh my gosh. But that's the thing. But when it comes to real life, we don't get that opportunity to, for lack of a better way of saying it, explode like that.
Right.
And so we take it in a sense, we get it in the movies, we get it in the sports. We high five our friends that are on the same team, that love the same team, and
Right.
then we sneer at the people who are like sitting next to us and they're rooting for the other team, you know. But it's that's in a controlled situation. But
Right.
now things are getting out of
Yeah.
control, and that is the hard part right
It
now,
is.
is watching
It
this whole thing happen. And I'm not talking necessarily about the Tesla issue incidents. It's everything.
everything. Everything. Just the and it really comes back to the whole concept that, you know, working on yourself and
Yes.
learning to love yourself. Like, I wrote one time seen a study done where I don't remember, it was at a seminar. I wish I could give the person the credit for it. I would believe that this sounds something like Jim Rohn would do, but he said, just everyone really quickly, just grab a piece of paper in their notebook. And I want you to write down three things that you love the most. What are three things that you love the most? And everyone just wrote them down, and I love my kids, I love my dog, I love my wife, my spouse, my, you know, whatever, right? And then after he did it all down, wrote it all down, he said, "Now everyone look at everyone's list. Just glance at it, because I don't want anyone cheating." And he show it to the people on your left, show it to your people on your right. He goes, "Now for all the people, their very first thing that they wrote down is me. Stand up." There wasn't one person in that 300 or 400 people group.
Mm.
Wow.
Oh
I
my
just got
gosh.
I just got chills, right? And
Yeah.
so the next step that he did was said, okay, how many people think that that should be up there? Now, how many people did put number one is you did put God, or you did put a creator. All of you stood up. That was like 30% of the people stood up, right? And he's going, okay, that's fine. So now I have a question for you. I want you now to write down three things that you love about you. Three things that you love about you. And he goes, before we start, how many people have never been asked that question? And it was almost every hand in the world. I mean, every in that group. And I just go, wow, if that's not even a thought, that's
Because
not
we're
a
told
thought.
it's selfish if we think about ourselves. Oh my gosh. I mean, honestly, that was one thing that when I was listening to some of these like Wallace Waddles for
Yes.
the science of getting rich, or even the let them theory, or some of the other mentors that are out there, and including you, Robert,
Yeah.
is you know you have to love yourself. You have to understand yourself. You have to give of yourself in order to get back. One of the things that I totally agree is, if you don't love yourself, how can you love anyone else?
And what you do is, here's what people don't realize, Craig, is that one factor, loving yourself or loving something about yourself, that 100% is where your confidence and your competence comes from.
Oh my gosh.
So now watch this. So what are you good at? I'm asking every one of you, what are you good at? And if someone says, "Oh my God, I'm a freaking awesome mechanic." I, I'm I'm a rock star mechanic. You see their body language change. You see their energy change. If you can feel their energy
Oh
change.
yeah.
All of a sudden their head goes up, their shoulders go back because that's something that they know they're good at, they're competent at, and that's where their confidence comes from. And so when you ask somebody, what is something that you believe that you're just above average? You're, oh my God, I love trivia. Or, it's whatever that little thing is, you immediately see their shoulders go back and you see that part of their energy that if all of you listen to this, what if you could have that energy and that kind of confidence and that kind of self-esteem, self-worth? You felt like you were enough. You felt like you were deserving because there's this part of us that walks into, yeah, I haven't talked about it in a while, Craig. That's where this came from. And I just go, why do people have so much problems with learning how to do anything? And why won't they stay with it? And you and I, before we jumped on here, I know you and I are, working on sort of, becoming a better trader, right?
Yes. Yes.
But, and I say, but that does, yeah, if I were noted as something and a bunch of people were speaking at my funeral, I don't think that I want one of them to say, oh, he was an awesome trader.
Yeah.
I'd I'd like them to say some other things, right?
A
And
little
so,
more than yeah.
yeah, so I thought the emotions going up and down the trading is A, what if you don't love yourself and believe in yourself? Okay. You know that you have thoughts, and a majority of the thoughts are all beating the shit out of yourself. They're all beating the shit out of you, right? Right?
And
So,
it's on a regular basis. Let me just make that
wait a
it's
minute.
all the time.
All the time, never shutting up. Rah, 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 rah. Never shutting up. Okay, so you don't like yourself. You think that you're a loser. You're a quitter. You freaking quit everything.
Hmm.
You make all these promises to yourself and other people that you love that you do not fulfill. You do not fulfill. If you asked all your coworkers what they thought of you, would you really get is, man, he's a team player. She's a team player. They always go the extra mile. They're always trying to help me out. I can truly tell that they really love to help other people succeed. Or is it, man, they've mastered the art of doing just as little as frickin' as possible to get their check. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And so because you're not enough, because you're not deserving, because you don't feel good receiving, all of this stuff, this is the thought pattern that's going through your head 24 hours a day, even while you're sleeping. I can't believe I'm overweight. I can't believe I don't eat well. I don't treat myself good at all because I don't like that. All right, let's take all these thinking from all these years. And now what you're going to do is you're going to attempt to be good at something. Anything.
Just one thing. Just one
Anything.
thing. Yeah.
And it's like your mind says, F off. You tried to diet before. You tried to exercise before. You've tried to eat right before. You know what I mean? It's like you attempted to build relationships before. So now they get into something that's supposed to give them joy and peace, which I don't know of another way of doing it other than the service of many. The way to greatness is the service of many. And I'm watching this right now with my wife because now that, Matthew and Hannah got Ezra on the way, I know my wife's love languages. Her love languages is taking care of others and
Hmm.
buying things for others. And we're very blessed to be in a very nice place in our lives. And so, of course, Hannah put together all the things she thinks she needs for Ezra when he's born. And I'm sorry for all of you. There's really no need to share that list with you guys because Terry buys everything she puts on the list. Hannah and Matt right now get more exercise than they have in their entire life going to the door and getting packages. and and that's her love language, and we've already gone on plans. We're going to go out there and stay with them for a few weeks, hopefully time it before Ezra's born and stay there a little while afterwards. And I watch my wife be this person, you know what I mean? And I'm going like, that's where joy comes from. That's where joy comes from. It's the ability to give to others and to service others. Well, if you don't like yourself, then you find fault and judgment in others
And in almost everything you do.
and everything you do. So why would you, now you're supposed to get into a nonprofit organization. You're supposed to build like a group of people that can supplement or replace their income. You're trying to build maybe a YouTube channel. And now you don't love yourself. You don't think you look good. You don't think you sound good. You don't like anything about yourself. And then you also don't like other people. And now you're supposed to build an audience. You're supposed to reach out to people. It's like me and Craig were talking in trading. You can be on a good, earning, and then all of a sudden have, a bunch of losses. And now it's like, okay, am I personally responsible for this? Or was the person that was doing, the trade signals or the tap to trade, do I get to blame him? Do I get to blame the system? Do I get to blame something else, right? But it doesn't take the emotions away. But now, Craig, I really know what it means, why people don't witness for their belief, why they don't share their testimonials with other people about what they believe their religion or their culture's done for them. Because we know other people do it, right? So the reason I'm not going to share with you, Craig, about my belief is because you can instantaneously look at me and know that I'm not applying any of the principles that are taught.
Well, we all pick and choose.
Yes, we
We
beat ourselves
all
up.
pick and choose what we think is the best. Exactly. It is
Yeah,
Dina.
I don't love myself. I don't love myself. I don't love other people. I don't love my neighbor. So now you get involved in a business or a nonprofit, and your whole goal is to find other people that will contribute to that, or like recruit, get affiliates in or whatever you call it. And they reach out to people, and it's the opposite of trading because everyone they reach out to says you're an idiot or ghost you or try to pitch you on something else. You got to go through all the negative before you find the win. It's not finding a bunch of wins and then you lose.
Oh, boy.
I know people, including myself, I've gone through, no exaggeration. People are going to think I'm lying in 38 years of doing this. I personally know that it would be, if I were guessing, that I've tried to attempt to connect with probably 3 or 4 million people.
Oh, my gosh. I would think even more.
Yeah,
Over that
I'm
amount
being
of time.
conservative.
Yeah.
I'm being conservative because I know I physically, in front of people, them hearing my voice and me seeing them and me live is over a couple of million. So not even counting those numbers. So a lot of people will look at anything that you're trying to build and they just, don't believe in themselves. And now the next step is I'm supposedly going to go out and share my belief with other people when I haven't applied any of it. I don't love myself. I don't love my neighbors. And I really honestly don't like people. So if I'm connecting with people, I sure in the hell don't want to, accidentally recruit or help any Ford people, because I'm a Chevy person. I So my grandpa drove a Chevy. My dad drove a Chevy. I drive a Chevy. Everyone's got a Chevy. Those frickin' Ford people. And they're almost as bad as those Chrysler Dodge guys.
Oh, God forbid.
Mopar people, you know?
Ooh, don't even say that word. Don't even say that word. Please.
And so I know I just been rambling, but Craig, I look at people trying to be happy. And people are just so judgmental. They're like, I used to say stuff like this. It always was a joke. But people would go, I go, what are you doing this weekend? I'm running. I'm doing a marathon. And I was like, on purpose?
Oh gosh, how many people? I know people who have said that. It's like you're going out and
go
doing
out and run for hours on purpose.
Yes. Or whatever it is you want to do. I'm going to go out like, okay, here's another one that along that same lines. I enjoy bird watching. Now, what is bird watching? You go out with a pair of binoculars and a little book to help you identify the birds. When I was younger, I would go out the weekend before Christmas and the weekend after Christmas with my scoutmaster, and we would count birds in an area. We found it easier to count the legs and divide by 2, and that's how we were able to get a good number. But anyways, careful, Robert. I know you got wired.
Yeah, the one-legged birds are in trouble, aren't they?
Oh, they are, especially. And that's the other thing is you got to try to figure out, okay, is that a one or a two-legger?
Yeah, so you never ever tried to count flamingos?
Oh no, because your count's going to be way off at that point. But I mean, and I've told people that I go out and do this, and I still, if I hear something out, like if I'm out walking with Susan, we go out for a hike or something like that, and I hear something, my attention immediately is, okay, what was that? Where is that? How can I identify that? Anybody else would sit there and go, huh? Now, and the other thing too, which I love about Susan is that, and this is the thing about what you're talking about too with you and Terry, is you learn to accept the other person in what they value, what they do, what they believe, if you want to be with that person.
I'm fascinated. Still this 40 years, I'm still fascinated with the stuff that not only excites her, but the stuff that actually annoys her. Because to me, everyone's out there watching this live or recorded. I'm telling you right now, when you watch what annoys people, and you just go, wow, man, I can't believe how worked up you get about that. You know what I mean? Because, it might sound awful, but, my wife says this perfectly. Here's the best thing she has. Sometimes I say to her, hey, you ever look at this, this, and this? Or you ever thought this? And she's like, no. That thought
never crossed her mind.
Never. So if I said, what do you think about this? Her response is, I don't. I don't.
Right.
And so you're like going, what? You know what I mean? It's like
and this is where, I mean, however she was raised.
Right.
And whatever experiences that she's had in her life that she has dealt with and doesn't want to deal with now because it was some sort of negative connotation, negative influence on her.
Right.
She has been able to take that and say, nope, not going to think about it. That's it. That may be part of what you are. That is who Robert is. That is not who Terry is. And I have to look at that the same way with Susan. That's the same way that Matt and I'm sure Hannah look at each other too.
Of course.
And anybody getting together, any group, I mean, how many of us have our little groups? And we've got several different groups. Yeah, the Imaginators. But I mean, not just here within, what you and I deal with, but our friend groups, our work groups, our peer groups. And we know certain things about certain people that triggers things that they either like or they don't like. and you work with that. You
Yeah,
know that in this group, I can't say this, but in this
right.
group, I sure can say this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And a lot of people, in my opinion, um, I think that everyone that watches this live and recorded is you so under appreciate who you are.
Oh my gosh. And I'm still learning
Yeah,
about that too. Every single day, it's like, why don't I be a little more selfish on certain things?
right, right.
And it's not meant to be selfish in the bad way. It's selfish in the good way. Again, going
I
back to
think
what
the
we started
word
with.
I think the word selfish again is programming, Craig.
Yes.
It's programming. We could grab any word and it's just 100% programming. And so you put selfish into the computer as a program and it comes back and says, don't compute. You're not supposed to be that way.
Right.
And so I would like people that would challenge this. It's like, you know, is it possible to learn to love yourself and all your imperfections and just really, really hone in on the things that give you the most joy and the most peace in your life? And can you do that without being selfish?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer is
Melody used to say, "Flossom."
yeah. And it's that's the barrier. It's like our whole thing is that we know people that are people pleasers, right? And
Yes.
and they're constantly looking for their happiness or what makes them really sing in the world, and they base it on the way they expect other people to feel based on what they do, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
so if they don't get the right appreciation or the right thank you or the right oh you're so amazing, it's like now we put all that effort into other people and then they in turn don't react the way that we expected them to, and now we feel worse, plus we did the thing that we thought would do it and it didn't work.
Yeah. And that's part of the let them theory too. Is
Yeah.
it How do you feel when you do something like that for somebody? Are you willing to say, "Okay, I did the best that I could with that person to try to help them in the best way possible," and they literally, for lack of a better way of saying it, they shit on me.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And are you willing or do you want to get upset, angry, and deal with that? Or do you want to just deal with it in the sense of, you know what? I did the best that I could. I'm going to just let it go. I'm going to
I'm gonna let them.
let
Because when
them
you
feel the
really
way they do.
when you really look at what people do sometimes is they think loving themselves and learning to love themselves and accept themselves and being a miracle and being unique, like the greatest miracle in the world has you, is like they want to say that that's selfish. But when you do something for somebody else expecting something in return,
Yes.
that's selfish. It's like, why did you do this? Well, I expected them to do it back. Or if I did this, they would do this. And they didn't. Then you didn't do it unconditionally.
There's the word right there, Robert. Doing it unconditionally because you like it. Are
Yeah.
you doing it because you like it and you feel good with doing it, regardless of what the end result will be or not?
Right. And so, you know, as we move forward, with Imaginators and the stuff that we're doing, I was like, wow, I think that everyone should know this, but they don't know this. Is that if things are not going right in your life, and it doesn't make a difference what area it is. I even know people out there that argue, well, how many different areas of your life is there? They try to put that in the categories of, you got your personal life, and then you got your career, and then you got your finances, and then you got your mental health. Then you have your spiritual life.
Mhm.
There's people that can split all these different things into categories, and they might be better or probably are better at one versus the other. So they get more joy out of their career than they do their relationships, or their finances might be taken care of, but their health sucks. You know what I mean?
Yes.
They got these areas down, but then the other ones are neglected, right? And so, but people don't realize that if you're attempting something new, that everything that you are is how you think about you and how you think about your environment.
Did you hear that? And I say that to everybody who's watching and listening. Did you hear what Robert just said?
It's all it is. So if I sit down with people and they say, I would like to make extra money, I would like to build a YouTube channel, I would like to start a nonprofit organization, I'd like to be an entrepreneur and learn how to market online. Anything that they do, if they're not willing to learn to love themselves first, so that they love themselves so much that they look at humanity in a way that they reach out to humanity as a way to love them and to serve them, it's nothing's going to happen. If you're trying to create a nonprofit organization and the reason for doing it is to make money, you're actually doing the exact opposite of running a nonprofit.
Mhm. By what you just said, Robert, the first thing that came to mind was the strangest secret, and we become what we think about. If you think
Totally.
about something that's negative or that will cause a negative result, you will get the negative. But if you keep thinking that positive, I'm doing it because of this, because I think about this, this is what I want, this is what makes me feel good. If you have not listened to The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale, I'll post that also in the
Yep.
chat at the conclusion. Please, it's about 30 to 35 minutes, depending on which
Right.
version you listen to. So worth it. By the way, I just got a quick shout out to Lisa Marie and to Jody Falcon for their donations to the super chat. If you Robert puts this money into the organizations he supports, orphanages mostly, but other organizations as well.
Yeah.
Click the $sign below the chat and then donate. We appreciate it. All the money goes to those
Thank you,
charities.
Jody. Thank you, Lisa Marie. I love you guys. Thank you so much for doing that. The orphans will love it. The children will love it. And
Yes. So, but
yeah,
I mean, that's listen to it because, and I mean, listen to it, follow its directions, meaning the strangest secret, follow what it shares, listen to the way he puts it. And what's interesting is this goes back to what, the 1940s, I think.
it
It
really truly, here's what's amazing is, a series that I'm going to start doing is just going to be called, it's going to be a part of the Imaginators, is when you really realize and come to a pot, aha moment, right? When you really realize how simple life is, it really kicks your ass. It really kicks your ass. And it's all around the simplicity of our thinking.
mm,
And so I'll close with this. This will be cool because I see we're right up on the hour. Is let's say that you took any part of the areas of life that you wanted to be gooder than, right? Do you realize that it's just the amount of time that you commit to that thing and the way that you think about that thing that changes everything? I've never said that ever.
ooh,
So if I want a better relationship with Craig, if I want a better relationship with anyone, it better be important enough to spend some time on that relationship.
oh my gosh, yes.
I just got to mentally go, I like Craig. I love Craig. I love who he is. I love how he loves people and serves people. I want to know him better. I want to, it sounds weird, but I would like to be more intimately connected with Craig. I want to know who he is and what things light him up, and maybe I can actually change some things in my life where I can take him someplace to see some birds. You know what I mean? To actually take some time to find out what people get peace and joy from, because there's nothing more rewarding to a human being of somebody that's actually been heard. And then you go out of your way to help them experience something that they never had. You want to build closeness in a relationship? That's what you do. Okay, so what if it was I'd like to be more connected to my creator? Time. Time. It's all, okay, don't get mad at me. I will say a couple before I hit you with the hammer. I'll call it a velvet hammer, right? Um, if you want a better connection with your kids, whatever, if you wanted to get a raise on your job and a promotion to your job, there's only one thing that you would need to do. And I can guarantee you the owner of the company or the manager that you work with would be floored if you walked up and said, I'd like to spend some personal time with you. And the only reason why is I want to know what your vision is and where you see your future with this company so I can do the best I can to make that happen. What? Well, if you're a manager or a supervisor, aren't you basically measured based on my productivity and others? Yeah. I want you to be able to talk to the people above you and go, see, I'm doing the right thing because look at the production of Robert. I know the other people are not pulling their weight, not doing what they're supposed to be doing, but my relationship with Robert, and look at his production. It's not me. Wow. So then we talked about, your church, right? Your physical ability, right? We all know that if you just spent time just thinking about the way you're going to eat, am I drinking 8 glasses of water? I don't want to make a big deal out of this because it's just me, but I think Sunday will be 21 or 22 days that I've been doing a fast just with water. And so I couldn't even remember why I quit the last time. And it was because we went to Cabo. I took my wife to Cabo.
Okay, that would kind of do it.
And I'm going,
Yes.
listen, we have date nights every Friday night. And I always say to her, I say, well, it's date night. She goes, I'm not going and just watching you drink water. And I said, well, I just want to be with you, and she's going, well, we'll do that here. But yeah, it is so, but me spending time on getting well, and see, Darce and Hannah don't, we'll see if they watch this, but it really, really tripped me when we were out in California and Craig, you and Susan was there. That was cool. And
great.
we found out that, that we were going to have a new grandson named Ezra. And I'm going like, wow, I'm 63 and he's not born yet. It's like, no, I need to see him in his 20s. I need to see him in his.
Oh, yes.
Now, all of a sudden you're going, oh my God, for me to see him in his 20s and his 30s, that's my 90s. And so everyone that's watching this, if I spend time thinking about losing weight, see, people say that I could never fast. Isn't that all thinking?
It's the programming.
It's all thinking. People
Yes.
immediately go, oh my God, but you need this, you need this, you need this, you need this. Go on AI or go on Google and actually find out how much protein, amino acids, vitamins, and nutrients that you have in 1 pound of fat. So it's 3,700 calories, a piece of fat. So if I'm 100 pounds overweight, I could go 100 days. And people are going, I don't think that's true. Now, it's actually the record. The record's 100 days of fasting. And of course, the guy did it, 100 pounds that he lost during fasting. And he had a medical team around him to monitor him right? So don't everyone freak out there. I got my vitamins, I got my electrolytes, I
You
have
have
my,
the basics that you
yeah,
need.
the only things that I need. And I feel great. I've never felt better. But that's what got me to this podcast today. Is like, you start clearing all this stuff away and you're going, oh, wow, if I spent more time doing this, this would happen. If I spent more time with this. So every area of your life that's not where you need it to be, you need to ask yourself, how can you put more positive time into that area? And you can't be doing it for you. You got to be doing it for a reason, right? So, me wanting a better relationship with Terry or Craig doesn't mean that I need them to spend more time on me. This is all stuff that you need to do under your control,
Right.
under your control, right? So we talked about the spiritual. Now the last one. Here's the velvet hammer. I want you guys to all guess, and I know you know the answer already. How can you learn and be successful at loving who you are? You got to spend time with yourself. Boy, who loves doing that?
Shutting everything off, letting your mind do what it needs to do, and understanding what it is that you feel. Because, boy, if that's not loving you, if it doesn't resonate, if it doesn't feel within you, if that's not what you want, then don't do it. Or let me say this, if you're in a situation where you have to do it, start changing it one step at a time. And
I,
it's
I
very simple to do if you take it in
yeah.
baby steps.
One of the things, believe it or not, is just listening to music and stuff that you
Oh my
love.
gosh, yes.
Yeah. Me, I thought it was always funny. I've always looked at, I just have to say Christianity, but a lot of people, I brought this up, I think, on one of the Imaginators, but you got to really understand what the word meditate means. Now, look it up yourself. Don't listen to other people's way of saying it. But I want you to read what meditation means. All right. Then, for some of you that are Christians, and you'll realize this in other scriptures and other parts of religion, is it says that you're supposed to meditate on the word. So why would people that believe in a certain way think that meditation is not godly, but it's written in the word that they're supposed to meditate on the word? So
Ha!
so I'm telling you guys, you got, because people go, oh man, I'm religious. I don't believe in that metaphysical, I don't believe in the metaphysical stuff that also my creator created. So if he made a crystal, or he's got some precious stones, or he's got some precious metals, I don't believe in that hogwash. See
But
what I mean?
then
And it's like,
why are things created around us for us to experience?
and so I'm going, here's where I think that it is, okay? Not only do you need to spend time on yourself, but the spending time to learning to love yourself actually gets you to a place of deprogramming. Because what you do is now you start thinking, I do a lot of stuff in my life because of other people. I don't really like going to work. I don't like that job. I don't like the vision that they're going for. I think that I would feel a little more fulfilled in that piece if I was doing something that gave me more purpose and more passion, something that I knew that served other human beings. And so this only allows you to go, wow, what if I could be in a place 24 hours a day that was just nothing but feeding me,
Mm.
feeding my spirit, feeding my soul, feeding who I am. And see, then all of a sudden people go, wow, you can go too far that direction too, can't you? All right. So now we look at some of the people that are, and they're in robes and they're monks and all they're doing is constantly praying and not talking to anyone. You're going like, I don't know any part of me that wants that. But because you're unique and you have your own DNA, and there's no one on the planet that's been here before you or after you, that's how unique you are. There's actually mathematical, since AI came out and Matt connected it to me. I actually asked, where did the phrase come from? We're 1 in 400 billion. Us being alive today on this planet, listening to this video live or recorded, there's a 1 in 4 billion chance for you to even be alive here in this moment. 1 in 4 billion. But we spend all of our time trying to be like somebody else instead of being that unique part of us. And so recently I've been listening to some stuff where when I first heard this, I was like, that's not true. Now it's true for me. It's like you were put here to connect and communicate and love a group of people that nobody else can. That is not possible without you loving yourself. So
Let that sit for just a minute because boy, that just yeah.
I don't think anything's possible. Being a good mate, being a good parent, being a good grandparent, being a good employee, being a good person in your belief, whether that's a person congregation or something like that, doing stuff with nature. It's really all the joy is stripped from it. All the peace is stripped from it if you can't be at peace, if you can't learn to love yourself and just let them or let that moment. I know there's a guy named Tolle
Oh,
that
Edmund Toll, I think. Tolle.
yeah, he's got some books and stuff out there. They're really out there, even for me. But it's talked about, being in the now, being in the present. Eric Tolle. I think it's Eric Tolle.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's something that's clicking in my head that
Yeah.
I know that I've
Because if you put Tolle, the best you could spell it and then put in now, Now. And when I
Eckhart
first,
Tolle, the German he's a German teacher.
I think so.
Yeah.
But his whole
EC
concept is I know it sounds weird, but can you go out with your bare feet on grass and get grounded and like you said, Craig, listen for the birds and listen to the wind and can you get into the now? Can you get into the present moment, this present moment and learn to enjoy that? And then when you get to enjoy that, then you can sort of get into the grateful feeling of wow. There's people on the planet right now that can't just do what you just told me. They can't go, out into a park away from everything and just not have any noise or anything around them and just be in nature.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so that would be the whole thing. So if there was a point that I think that we're both at, and I know that Craig, you've been a great host as always, is you know, what if it was possible to spend a little bit of time with you every day and really get to learn to love yourself so that you could love other people for exactly who they are? Because when you get that down, then people don't have to be anything for you. They don't have to be anything for you. They don't have to do what you tell them. They don't have to be involved with what you're doing. They don't have to buy something that you're promoting to earn income. You just let them be them. And I know that we all have the capability of doing this because it's like going to a family reunion or a school reunion. You're going there because there's other kids that are there that experience the same school as you. Do you walk around to everyone and go, "What do you do?" "I'm a plumber." "Oh, that's stupid." You don't, it's like you don't care what they do for a living. What a concept.
Yeah.
What a concept. I don't care what they're doing. Are you married? Do you have kids? No, I honestly chose not to get married. I don't have any kids. See, why do we all got to be, my comment in the past for someone that said I've never been married, and it's like, well, there's probably all the girls that you dated probably have something in common. Well, what's that? You. You know what I mean? It's like, people that say I don't have any children, my nice little snark comment would always be, you mean the ones that you don't know of? Like, you don't
Yeah.
get,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, you
Yeah.
don't get every Father's Day, you don't get unsigned Father's Day cards that come in the mail. You know what I mean? It's like, wait, well, why does everybody have to fit into our mold?
There it is.
You
Exactly.
don't fit in our programming. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
Craig, please have the last word.
Well, you know what, Robert, you said exactly a lot right there, just within these last few minutes, because it's what I believe too, and I'm learning to believe. I think that's the key thing here is every day we are learning, and it's also part of your mental health, your personal health is moving, just figuring out, taking that time, taking those moments to silence everything, turn it off. Or, like you said earlier, because I do that. There are times where my head is swimming with so much and I can't shut it off. Just the other night,
Yeah.
I was up, I hear my brother leave at early in the morning because he's a plumber. So he's out the
Oh,
door by
wow.
5.
Really? I didn't know
Yeah.
that. That's
Oh,
cool.
yeah. And so he's out the door at 5. Oftentimes I'm up, I hear him leave, and I go back to sleep. But for whatever reason, I couldn't. My mind was just circulating with a whole bunch of stuff. Part of it was the trading this last week and some of the other things that are going on in my life. And I had to just sit there and go, oh my God, what is going on? I can't shut it off. And one thing you said is music. And
Yeah.
I have my Bose headphones. I turn on certain sets of music and I relax. If that's what it takes for me to get out of that mode or meditate, turn
Yep.
everything off. And actually, I do turn on those Bose headphones for nothing
Yeah.
because they're noise
Yeah.
canceling. And then I can just sit there and go, whatever my mantra is, whatever your mantra is, and do nothing for the next 20 minutes. Whether I am doing the 6 phase meditation or not, I'm
Right.
silencing all of that excess noise in my head to focus on me. And it helps. And we need to take those moments to stop and think, step back. There was somebody who, a short actually, that I recently saw, where if you get emotionally charged by something somebody says, don't react right away. I'm guilty. I will,
Yeah.
I take a moment, stop, don't say anything right away. Even if there's a pause, take a moment, think about it.
Right.
Is it worth responding to? Yes, I can say that right now, but I still have that issue. And I
Sure.
am constant, and we're all constantly fighting that. But if we keep practicing it and we take that one step at a time and moving in that positive direction for ourselves, and if others come with us, even better.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if your spouse, your partner, your significant other, also, or your friends, your best friends, not your
Right.
acquaintances, but your best friends, allow you to do that, understand why you're doing that, and respect your belief like that, take those steps because you're going to be a better friend, you're going to be a better lover, you're going to be a better person, you're going to be a better spouse, a partner, and significant other if you learn to understand, like you've shared, yourself.
Yeah. And so if you don't know how to learn to love yourself, then just be with yourself and ask yourself.
Yeah. Take exactly.
It's like, hey, what do I like?
Write it down.
Yeah, what gives me the most joy right now? Because I know some of you are not going to believe this statement, but I can give you a million examples. When you find someone that loves, enjoys what they do, we see evidence in it because they usually have an audience of people watching them do it. So whether it's skipping rocks or stacking plastic cups or singing in front of millions of people or acting in front of cameras, we find people that really love who they are doing that thing. And it's so unique that people will pay money to watch that person do it. And it's the silliest stuff in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so to a whole group of people like me, I love watching people race cars. And the majority of the people, I'm saying majority, like way over 90%, if not higher, would go, you watch other people driving. That's got to be so close to watching paint dry. That's got to be watching grass grow. You know what I mean? But that's the niche. That's the niche that you're in. When
All those
Craig
left
says,
turns.
yeah, like when Craig says, I love bird watching. It's like, what? You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
what? I'll tell you why I would get joy out of it. I would I would get joy out of it because I get to see a person that I love very much experiencing joy.
And I'm going to do the same to you, Robert, because, okay, I've always enjoyed racing and
Mhm.
NASCAR and Formula One. And knowing that I can go ahead and say, did you see the Daytona 500 this last weekend? Oh my God. I get to share an experience. I mean, this,
Bingo.
even though that Robert and I share a lot of experiences together, this is one that I know is personal to him.
Yeah, so important.
And it
So
just it
important.
makes so. And how do you feel? Oh my God, when I can share something like that with Robert and I see his face light up, holy cow. And yeah,
That's why we continued.
exactly.
There is some people that might have difficulties finding ways
Yay,
to love
Dustin.
the way to love themselves. You know what I mean? Then think about how you can get joy by helping other people get joy. Because in me personally, it's like we've heard that phrase many times, is that on your deathbed, what's really going to make the difference in the last moments of your life. For me personally, it's going to be me closing my eyes and going through the number of events that I put smiles on other people's faces. I'll live for moments that will take my breath away. And so I want to create those for people. And that's the key. So Craig,
Wow. I I think that's it right there.
yep,
That
yep,
is the perfect way to finish today's podcast. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much because, this is sharing. This is what we love. We're just grateful that you enjoy watching and that you're here to listen. And this is what Imaginators is going to be all about. This is what Unlimited Wisdom is about because there's
yep.
more to it than just one way or the other. It's I mean, Robert, I think the reason why we call it unlimited wisdom is because the wisdom that's out there is unlimited, and there are
Yes.
various points of views from everybody to take into consideration. And love you, man. I appreciate
Love
you
you too,
so much,
man.
and I'm just grateful that you are a part of our lives and
I'm grateful
our
that you're part of
adventures.
our lives.
You can follow Robert Hollis at roberthollis.com. Also, if you'd like to join our exclusive community by going to roberthollis.com/join, you'll be able to subscribe to our Imaginators group, We are got so many things to share with you and so many things to come in the coming year. I mean, we're only almost done with the third month. We've got 8 more months to go. So
25 is going to be
please,
our best year ever.
absolutely, positively. There's going to be lots of great content there. Also, subscribe to the channel. Click that subscribe button right down below. Click the like button down below. Share this with everybody that you know so that we can reach out to more to people with ears to hear. And Robert, bless you. Thank you so very much. I got to give a shout out, of course, to Matt Hollis, our executive producer. We missed you, Matt, today, but we know you're going to be with us again shortly. Please take care because when you have a bun in the oven going to take place here very soon, that is important.
Yeah, priority for sure.
Family first. So, Robert, bless you, my friend. Thank you so very much. We'll look forward to seeing people tomorrow on Ask Me Anything, tomorrow at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, right here on the channel on YouTube at Robert Hollis. And then, of course, Sunday is Imaginators at noon Pacific, but you have to be an Imaginator to be a part of our group. So please join. Go to roberthollis.com/join, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Bless you, my friend. Thank you so very much. Until next time, be good to yourselves, be cash, and bye-bye.
Love you, Craig. Have a good day.
Love you too. Take care.